Okay, this is a video for the Dunu DM-480. This is a dual driver configuration, so 2 dynamic drivers on each side, titanium coated PET mylar. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. That's usually standard, what they put the coatings of beryllium or titanium, whatever. It's a unique, not unique, but increasingly rare because of hybrids of like different types of drivers or tribrids with 3 different types of drivers. This is 2 of the same dynamic together. So I was interested to listen to it. The music that I listened to is Tupac, Ambitions as a Rider, Aerosmith, No More, No More, Cars, Since You're Gone, Pink Floyd, On the Run, Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams, Black Sabbath, Sweet Leaf. First one I'll go with is the weakest replay, which would be Pink Floyd, On the Run, because I'm checking this for resolution, basically. Because there's a part on the track On the Run where there's a woman making a gate announcement at an airport for people to get their passports ready for a flight to Rome. And how long you can catch that and the quality of that is really down to the resolving properties of the earphones or the headphones that you're using and the way that the dynamic or the drivers have been implemented. People ask sometimes, why does something sound good and not? Why is it not related to price? Because drivers play music in 2 directions. They play it out and noise leaks backwards and it reflects off, and companies that just slap drivers and then put it out there, they don't consider that. And companies that do consider that, the reflection and all that stuff, that's why the steel dynamic drivers, by not coincidence, have been really good. The Canas Pro, the KXXS by Moondrop, the TFC number 3, the Belon 03, the Urban Fun. It's not a coincidence that those are all really hard metals that have the reflection speeds are super fast, almost too fast for you to perceive. With plastics, so microseconds slower, but your brain can kind of pick up on that. This was done very well. Again, the only part that I'm finding to be lacking is resolution, but I think that's just down to being 2 dynamic drivers, and beyond that I really couldn't say. It's a decent playback otherwise. There's a mid scoop, not a scoop, kind of a scoop. It's pretty much kind of a V shape. It's like a Belon with a little more emphasis up in the treble, but I honestly can't say that it was something that annoyed me or stuck out on a particular track and thought, okay, that would be offensive. And the bass that is elevated, because it's titanium, it doesn't sound like it graphs. It sounds like the bass is a little bit tamer, and I don't mind bass like this. If this sounded like that, I'd be cool with it because I like bass. As long as it doesn't mess up with the mids. I prefer this had a little less scoop, but this isn't my world. I'm just living in it. So the titanium on the driver is causing this to, though it looks like this in its graph, it sounds not like this because the recovery speed of titanium is quite quick. I learned this when we did headphone bass tests. The ultrasones had several titanium coated Pro 990s, I think, were the Ultrasound Pro 990s, and others. Great mid-bass hit, very fast decay, great for other stuff. One of the other guys loved EDM. He said they were great, kings of the EDM. I'm a hip-hop person. I didn't like them. So if you're into EDM, or you're into stuff that has, you know, high BPM or beats per minute, fast attacking, death metal, somebody's asked me before, this might be something to consider because the titanium coating is going to make that sound like that very quickly and then recover very fast. So in your perception, that would seem to be lower, which would mean that even though the mids are slightly down, your ability to perceive and receive them are improved because you're not being overwhelmed by bass. So the graph is a V graph, but I don't think there's that much emphasis on the bass in real-time listening. Like when you're listening to something like Tupac, Ambitions as a Rider, the bass seems to kind of fall away a little bit more naturally than that graph might otherwise indicate. So that's Pink Floyd. And Tupac, Ambitions as a Rider sounded good, but I did note the speed of the bass falling away was a little bit too fast for my liking, but then I thought, there's other genres where that is actually exactly what they're looking for. So if you're into EDM, you might want to look for a review done by somebody that listens to that, because they might be able to give you a better, like, yeah, buy this. for me, I don't know if it's really a rec. It's $60. I would rec the Urban Fun and some others over this, but that's based on my library and the music that I used to listen to. Aerosmith, No More, No More is where this gets shown a little bit up, because there's vocal and piano and that little mid scoop. Though I can't perceive it on other stuff, I can kind of hear Steven Tyler is back just a little bit. So this wouldn't be a set that's ideal for classic rock unless you were listening at kind of lower volumes where you can catch everything. If you tune this up a little bit, the treble emphasis seems to show itself, and so does the dip in the mids. But in medium, lower listening, it seemed fine, but Steven Tyler was noticeably back a little bit, so it wouldn't be ideal. They certainly wouldn't be good for monitoring. And classic rock, I don't think that they're ideal. But I'm not bashing on them because I enjoyed the replay. It was clear to hear the problems that it had. One is that the bass is not ideal for hip-hop, in my opinion, and the mids on the gate announcement on Pink Floyd and also Steven Tyler's vocals, Aerosmith, were not ideal. Not bad, not ideal. Eurythmics sounded good. The organ, the keyboard play sounded good. What's her name? The lead singer, Annie Lennox, she sounded good. There was no odd harmonics up in the early treble, so she was fine. Black Sabbath Sweet Leaf was average. I think that would probably be related to the mids. So I guess now that I'm speaking out loud, it seems like the mids are clearly the weak point of this and not what looks like maybe kind of peaky treble. But this is library specific, so I'll repeat this. Based on my library, this wouldn't be a set that I would think would be ideal. But for somebody that might be focused on EDM or fast beats per minute, which like death metal, thrash, this might actually be something. I don't know that mids are like you need those. Where in something like my library, you actually do, because it's constantly showing itself. Whereas a lot of modern music is really emphasizing on both sides, like on the bass and on the treble. And so this might work out for you if you're listening to that in your collection more than what I listen to. So before I go, I got, I think, 6 bags of these from Lee. And because I live in a country where yesterday, people are acting like there's nothing going on, and you want the Olympics too, by the way, I already can't find these in the supermarket or convenience stores. So I kept 3 of them and gave 3 to my chick so she can give to her parents, because this is legit concern. Those masks aren't going to help you, man. But I want them anyway, because it doesn't hurt. Every little bit counts. You guys stay safe out there. The Dunu DM-480s are decent, and they're probably maybe really good for their price for a library other than what I listen to. So I'm going to make sure that in future reviews I always make clear that what I say is based on what I listen to. People already know. Okay, this is a video for the Dunu DM-480. I'm going to go ahead and put the unboxing, and I'm going to pin it later to the review, so maybe this will be at the beginning or the end. I'm not sure. It's a dual dynamic configuration, which is kind of semi-unusual. If I got this right, 2 8mm titanium drivers, taking care of the full spectrum, bass, mids, and treble. The box was one of those ones where you feel like you want to just start flinging stuff. I got it all prepared because the camera's on, but that was somewhat of a nightmare. I'm going to take the tip off. 2-pin sticking out just a bit. It's got the metal screen. Fairly small, not that very large. Thick foam insert. That to the side. Inside there's a case, and under that would be warranty, quality control card. In the case, we have cable, clip, tips, and then more tips. I'll figure out which ones fit me best. Take a look at the cable. Got the rubber on the ear hooks. It's not bad. Sometimes they go like this, like on the B-lawns, and they push themselves out of your ear. No brand markings. It's a straight plug. I prefer right angled myself. It seems decent and it's not getting crazy tangled. No oddities. I think it's got a brand or numbering right there. And then it's got the brand on this side, Dunu. It has one of those chin sliders that doesn't seem to work, but who really cares? Except the chin slider people out there, and there's a lot of them. So cable seems decent. It's got a case, but it's kind of small. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this at the end of the video because it's too long. But if you want to get a close look at stuff, which of course you have the right to, build quality seems decent. These are small. They got 2 dynamic drivers. I expect they're going to do some bass, so let me go ahead and turn this off and get into the music.